What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How you hearing me? We've had a bit of a change in locale. I am getting the results fed to me here at the cabin. The Wi-Fi at the club, not ideal, but we're going to give it a shot. I do have some results. We'll let some folks get on here. Let me know if you can hear me okay, if everything's looking okay, all that good stuff. I know they're having trouble getting the results because the pictures won't come through. John Graham, very good to see you on here, buddy. TJ McCauley, John Thacker. But yeah, we got some results. We've got 3 winners so far. We'll just go through them real quick. Michael Ward, Tin Cup. They are your winners. Chris Collins and Picking Up Sticks. He is your winner as well. And Braxton Wills and Fully Committed. I assume he was hunting Pit Boss. I'm going to go through all these matchups here shortly just to double check. So let's find out what cards these guys were on. Those are the 3 winners I have now. That's got to be a good feeling. That has to be a good feeling, getting that thing over with early round, night 1. Michael Ward and Tin Cup. John Granberry gets a lot of credit, especially according to Michael Ward. He done a lot of work on Cup. Michael continuing that good work. It's a really cool place that I'm in, actually. It looks like an old beat-up shed outside. On the inside, it's actually really nice. It's just this living area. And then back through that door, there's a bedroom and a shower. It's all I need. It's really, really cool footprint outdoors. But yeah, I got lucky with this place and found it last minute after my other one got canceled. And now here I am only 3 miles from the clubhouse. So that's really cool too. I am getting texts as far as the updates here. You might be able to hear some background noise with this mic that you wouldn't normally hear. There's somebody else staying in the cabin next to me who's got their dog tied out, but I'm going to find out who that is tomorrow. He keeps barking. Me and him about ready to have a come to Jesus meeting. So, Tin Cup, he is your winner over Legs at Flat Rock Doc, Bobby Burden, Benny Cooper, and Big Hank, and Wipeout Bud. That is Seth Jacks. So, yeah, congratulations to Michael Ward and Cup. I'm trying to figure out the other cast with the other winners real quick. Chris Collins, he is your winner over Robbie Rhodes and Wipeout Easy E. I like that dog. I got to hunt with him down in Oklahoma last year at the $10,000 entry. Mo Money, Mo Problems, Jordan Coble, and No Gamble, Jed Bronk McDaniel. I'm fixing to go out. Can you guys hear that dog? We're fixing to have some training. I'm going to start carrying bark collars with me everywhere I go. That's good. You can't hear the dog. I can hear him. He's driving me crazy. He's got a good mouth. I'll give him that. Let's find Braxton Wills cast. Oh, he had a tough one. He is your winner over Boo Boo Rivers and Battle Axe, Thunderbirds Dominator and Jed Finley, and Wipeout Ruby Travis Carlock. Then Hennard, we can't get a betting app for this because it's illegal. Highly illegal. As much as I enjoy bringing this to you and betting on sports. Um, Probably shouldn't be doing this. If DraftKings picks it up, good on us. But there's a lot more money in sports gambling in the federal government than there is in $200,000 coon hunts. Did you see Armand Sarukian's buddy won $5 million on Justin Gaethje the other day? Bet $1 million to win 5.7 or something like that. That's crazy. If I had $1 million, I wouldn't be betting it. You guys give me a second. I'm gonna yell at this dog. Ah! Ah! My gosh, it's like we're autumn oaks around here or something. Jeez. You'd think you come to a hunt with a $5,000 entry, there wouldn't be a dog tied out, barking right next to your cabin in the middle of nowhere. I can't get away from them. So that's what we got so far. Congratulations to Braxton Wills, Michael Ward, and Chris Collins. You watch Chris Collins. Sticks is way down in Texas. He doesn't get a lot of love because, where he's at mostly. Same way when you get a dog out in Kansas or Nebraska or way up north in Wisconsin. But Chris travels a long ways. He hunts that dog in several hunts. But that is a tough dog. That is a hard dog to beat. So I'm not surprised that Chris won. But it's a dog to keep an eye on. That's a dog that's due for a big win, too. So that's what we have so far. We'll stay on here for a little bit and see what we can get. I know Wade's cast has not finished yet. These are early finishes. I don't have any of the scores, Jason Snellgrove. I just got the winners. All I got is the winners. When it's quiet, this is a really good setup to use for this. I got my deal here to read all the comments. I got the camera up there. Sounds good, but this picks up all the background noise, like a dog barking. So yeah, we'll stay on here for another 20, 30 minutes. Get what scores we can. Final 3 predictions. Oh, I ain't going to make any predictions until this first round comes out. These are 2-hour casts, Roger Young. They will hunt 2 hours. No, they're the weather's. I mean, it's hot and sticky, but not like it was last year. Just 3 casts in so far, Mike Davis. Yes, just 3 casts in. Updates are going to come slow. I think we've got the Wi-Fi problem at the clubhouse fixed. I'll have that ready tomorrow. Here's my plan for the semifinals, which would be late round tomorrow night. I plan on going out with the cast and being live in the woods. I'll let you guys pick the cast. And then the plan is to have someone walk along with me getting updates on the other 2 casts, getting play-by-play updates on the other 2 casts. We did this at the JPI squirrel hunt, me and Ashton Hall. I ran the camera. He got updates and done a little color commentary because he knows a lot more about squirrel dogs than I do, and it worked out really good. And so that may be what I do here. Especially it's so nice because the semifinals are late tomorrow night, and I won't have to go back out there and hunt the finals, in the late round. Hunting in the late round, early, late, one night is not a big deal. If I'm lucky enough to make a late round, I can do that, no problem. Toting that stick and light and camera through the woods for 2 rounds in the same night is miserable. And so, if I can get by, I don't mind being in a 2-hour cast. It's hard enough. Oh, and my back I just popped my back right there. My back hurts thinking about it. And so, yeah, late tomorrow night, I plan on being in the woods. And then, of course, if they do hunt it off, it will be Saturday night early. Fingers crossed. Let's pray that happens. I mean, let's pray that someone gets in there. Y'all root for Nikki Hale, Brendan Tony. Strickland said he'd probably hunt. There's a few that'll hunt. If we can get Nikki through a couple rounds, it's a lock. We're good. Wade gets through 2 rounds with June. He's got to hunt now. He's done flapped his gums too much. If he gets in, I think I'm going to take over handling, and then if I win the next round, I'm going to tell him we're splitting. Yeah, but out of, 108 entries, probably 60 handlers, because a lot of them have early and lates. I bet there ain't but 5 or 6 that would hunt. 5 or 6, maybe. So we got to root on one of those to get in. Most of these casts turn loose around 10, so they're not going to be over for a little bit. No, Mike Davis broken busted is the only red bone here, as far as I know. A lot of these dogs, because it doesn't say the breed on the. Well, it might, I guess. I guess maybe I've never really looked. I will look and see if it says the breed on the ticket. Probably does, yeah. I know there's a couple blue ticks. See, cast 1, Walker, Walker, blue tick, Walker. Cast 2, Walker, Walker, blue tick. That is Kim Russell. Casey's Missouri Blue Kennels out of, or maybe it's just Mo Blue. Every time I see MO, I see blue. Johnny Stout says there's 3 blue dogs. So Kim Russell's hunting blue dog. Of course, King George, and I believe one other. Everything else, I believe. Little Toe, Adam Lowry, that's a crossbred. Walker, there's 2 crossbreeds at least. Half-breed Spook, Tim Scott, that's a crossbred. Speed Demon, Barry Kitty, that's Walker, of course. That cast all Walkers. That cast all Walkers. Even Jesse Lively Jr., he's not hunting no blue. He's hunting a Walker. Zeke, Hank, King, George, and Richard Casey has a female in it that I saw. So yeah, that's probably right. I don't have any good luck down here. That's why Ralph's not here. JR called, asked if I wanted an entry, and I said no. I don't. I've brought really good dogs down here. Ralph last year. We brought Bella, Rain, Scent. They've all hunted down here. I never have any luck at Junction. So yeah, there is. And there's Broken Busted. Redbone. Walker, Walker, Walker. Walker, 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 Walker. I didn't know Chex was a crossbred dog. She's out of Ralph. I wonder what female. That's the one Justin Wallace is hunting. There's 3 crossbreds so far. Jesse's Blue Dog is a registered crossbred, but I'm pretty sure that's a pure blue dog. They just couldn't DNA profile the dad, so they had to make him crossbred. So yeah, I'm seeing the blue ticks. I'm seeing one red bone. Handful of crossbred dogs. Deep South kennels, that is a good hunt, but the problem is you got to find, with a head-to-head hunt, you have to have a non-hunting judge. And so, say you do 64 dogs or 48 dogs or whatever, well, in that early round, you got to have that many judges. So can't find the judges for that many head-to-head dog hunts now. Yep, looks like the 4 blue ticks, 3 or 4 crossbreds, 1 red bone, rest are walkers. Steve Rowe, they said it might be Jesse. The jury's still out on what blueberry wine is out of. I've heard it both ways, but that dog looks all blue to me. Yeah, Tracy Thompson looks like he won cast 1. That was over duel. Tim Chaffin. No, that's not cast 1 if Tracy Thompson was in it. I'm trying to remember what cast he was in. Did Nikki win? That's the main thing. We're all rooting for Nikki. And Wade and Brendan Tony. I should have got copies of all these so I can have them out in front of me instead of going through my phone every time. But as you can just imagine, it is a madhouse at hunts like this, trying to keep everything organized. Yeah, I don't even see Tracy's cast. Trent Brummett says Crash, Rip, and King George. King George, pretty good dog. I drew him in the semifinals of the truck hunt, and he beat me. Ralph ran hogs all night and didn't do a great job of that. And George went and treated a couple of coons, looked pretty good, and then he looked pretty good in the finals of that same hunt. Little Blueberry Wine won. He just got to where he had to spend a good portion of the cast treed. It's just the way it ended up. Both them blue dogs looked good that night. Is Andu. I mean, she's only won pretty much everything. Little Ralph is out of Neosha River Ralph and a Wipeout Hunter female. Yeah, Meltdown did not have a lot of pups, but luckily that stuff's still surviving thanks to Nikki. Nikki, of course, got down, got all that stuff, was able to get pups out of him. Oh yeah, you're right. Tracy was in cast 1. He's a winner over Derek Woodyard Jr., King George, Tim Chaffin, and Crash and Dual Murphy. Crash has been on a tear again. I wonder what Duel will do late. Will he get Jack out or will he hunt Crash? Would Crash get in 2 nights out at Bucyrus at the 6,500? 2 or 3. Got in the finals of the truck hunt. Got second. So yeah, there's a dog to keep an eye on. If Crash would have got through, he would have been one that I probably would have picked. But man, it's hard to get past this first round. All fresh dogs, all fresh spots. Never know what's going to happen. There's another dog I really like there in Cast 2, and that is, of course, Flat Rock Packing Screamer. Kevin Shireman says he's rooting for Zeke. Zeke's easy to root for. Likeable dog, backed by likable folks. Ed Green especially, super likable. Zach, no, I like Zach too. But yeah, Zeke is a good one. Very good one. We should get some more results coming here pretty quick, I would think. We'll see. Yeah, Granbury Kitty's always got a good dog. Good dog men are like that. They always happen to have a pretty good dog. Me and Nikki was talking earlier. Not only do you have to have a good dog, but you got to be smart about how you hunt it, smart about where you take it. And you got to enjoy being in a cast. That's a lot of, and I'm guilty of that too. I don't like being in a cast. I've never liked being in a cast. That's probably why I have an entry that's paid for at a hunt like this and I still don't take it. That's one of the reasons. And so a lot of dogs have to have opportunity too. And so you get guys like Strickland and Kitty and Weed and Ward and Duel and all that stuff. All right, we got some results coming in, I believe. If I can get them to open. David Vanover, he's your winner with Landman Bob. Brian Hudson dog. Bummer, he beats Nikki Hale in Town Time. Also over Ransom Palmer and Diva and Clayton Smith and Pork Chop. Earl Hochstetler, Barbara Joe, they are your winner there in Cast 6. Winner over Scott Engel and Catman Dude. Big Time Mo, Jesse Lively Jr. and Black Oak Hazel, Zach Vaught. Doug Douglas, Trail of Tears, there's a very underrated dog too. She's in that same situation where, she's not at as many hunts as a lot of them, but a very, very quality female. And he is your winner over Lonesome Zeke. Looked like a good cast, 325 plus for Tears, 250 plus for Zeke, 275 plus for Triggerman and Demetrius Holland, 200 plus for Bronco and Chance Peters. That's what we got so far. I do got some pictures of cards coming in. Let's see here. Cast 15. That is Hank, Dot, Cup, and Bud. Looks like Cup trees 2 coons for $375. Hank takes some minus. Dot trees a coon. No luck for Bud. He gets struck and then does not get on the card again. That card is illegible. Not even going to try. And those are the only 2 cards I got. Yes, Bob is on a roll. And Jim Nanny, of course, I'm rooting for Wade, too. He is one of my best friends. Don't tell him I said that. But yeah, would love to see him win. So right now we got Tracy Thompson and Spectre, Landman Bob and Vanover, Barbara Joe and Earl Hochstetler, Pit Boss Braxton Wills, Doug Douglas with Trail of Tears, Tin Cup Michael Ward, and Moss Hill picking up sticks Chris Collins. Those are your winners so far. I wonder what Spectre's out of. So far, it looks like the best score I'm seeing right now is 375 plus out of Cup. I don't have all the scores. Tracy Thompson, 325 plus. No score for Vanover. Barbara Joe had 350 plus. No score for Pit Boss. Doug Douglas, 325 plus. Tin Cup, 375 plus. No score for Sticks. So, all I see in so far is a bunch of splitters. I don't know about Tracy. Vanover and Brian Hudson and Bob don't know. Hostetler don't know. Braxton Wills probably split. Doug Douglas will split. I know Ward made him hunt the 100K hunt. I don't know if he would make him hunt this. I'll have to ask Michael tomorrow. Chris Collins split. Chris Collins would split if he would lose $5. Nikki, I believe Nikki has a late round entry too. I love Nikki. We talk about Dogman, and you've got Nikki out there winning 4-wheelers with beagles, world hunts with squirrel dogs, and then coon hunts all the time. And I always enjoy visiting with Nikki. I've heard people complain about Nikki on a cast, but I've never had any trouble with Nikki on a cast. You can't be on all these casts all the time without making somebody mad. That's part of it. Nikki's there to win. But yeah, he's one of my favorites. He really is. Yeah, we might do another podcast with Nikki. But, he's got beagles, squirrel dogs, coonhounds, and he wins with all of them. He's a dog man. Nikki Hale is a dog man, and then Nikki works too. I don't know how he does it. Everyone asks me, how do you hunt all night? I can't believe you hunt all night every night. Well, it's easy. I don't get up till noon. It's a piece of cake. I get in at 4 or 5 in the morning every morning. I sleep until 10:30 to 12 every day. It's a piece of cake. Everyone's like, I don't know. If you hear these guys that only coon hunt for a living talk about how hard it is, they're lying. They're lying. I remember when I was, we're going to have to just kill some time here until some stuff gets in, so I'm telling stories. But when I was working all the time, and I would watch hunting shows, I love to waterfowl hunt. I used to do some big game hunting. I like turkey hunting. I don't do any of it anymore because this takes up so much time, and this is what I enjoy the most. But man, I would bird hunt. We had winters off a lot of times if we didn't go down south and work, and I would bird hunt and duck hunt, really hard through those winters. And you'd watch them hunting shows, and it would be like Jim Shockey on some Tibetan mountain, and they're like talking about how hard it is. I'm like, what's hard? Getting up and digging holes in the ground with a shovel all day. That's hard. Getting up on a roof in July, putting up shingles, that's hard. Don't tell me how hard it is to go hunting. Yeah, it might be physically taxing, but it's not that hard. I don't care. So yeah. Do I get worn out packing this light around in these casts and filming these hunts for these guys? Sure. But it is not hard. It's the easiest job I've ever had in my life and will probably ever have. So yeah. But Nikki does all that and hunts hard and still works. So kudos to him. Yes, we do need a podcast with Dustin Weed. Dustin Weed will not do a podcast. I've tried to get him to do it several times. I'll revisit it again with him. I like Dustin. We always have good casts with Dustin too. I think Dustin is a misunderstood guy as far as the dogs go and stuff like that. But man, I enjoy my cast with Dustin. He's always got a good dog. He always knows what it's doing. I've heard Dustin question calls and do stuff, but it's always when it made sense. So yeah, there's a reason he's the winningest handler of all time. Let's see if we got any updates here. Nothing right now. Yeah, this setup's pretty good as long as you guys can hear me good in that dog. He ain't barked since I told him to shut up the last time. Yeah, it is a lot more pleasant in this cabin than it is in that great big gymnasium. I am only about 2.5 miles from the club, 3 miles, something like that. So it worked out pretty good. I'd like to go down and hunt with Weed for a week or two. I've done it with Duel and Strickland, and getting ready to. You guys are going to get ready to see something with me and Engel soon. Mike Davis, we're still working on the gold member hunt. It will happen. We're thinking it's going to be in Southern Illinois. How cool would it be to have the gold member hunt held at the Joy warehouse in Pinckneyville, Illinois? I think that would be pretty cool. But that's what we're thinking. Centrally located. I think we could get the guides in the right time of year. The atmosphere would be fantastic. We could really make it a customer appreciation hunt, which is what it is. And that's what we're thinking. Still waiting on word from Wade's cast. I'd really like to see him get that dog in. I told him to get her in and sell her. He won't sell her. Oh, I look at dogs differently than everybody else. I'm always wanting to sell them. Man, get me a new one. Sell that one, get me another. John Granberry, that is a cool story. I like, a lot of people are fans of the underdog. They're fans of, the guy, and I like those stories too. Man, I like greatness. I like greatness. I was a Tom Brady fan, Derek Jeter fan. Them guys that just win, Kobe Bryant. I just the sheer will to win has always been more impressive to me than anything. Uh-oh. Got an update on Cast 17. I think that is Brendan Toney. I will double check. But in Cast 17, it is Brendan Toney advancing, if I'm reading that correctly. Cast win for Brendan Toney, 175 plus. He is one win away from the finals, and then we will definitely hunt. Or I guess 2 wins away. No. Yeah, 1 win away. 2 wins away. 108 dogs. Yeah. He's one step closer. He advances till tomorrow night. Yes, we will get a real quick update. We will go through all the winners. Right now in Cast 1, it is Tracy Thompson. He is your winner there with Spectre. Cast 4, Barry Kitty. He advances with Wipeout Speed Demon. That just came in. Cast 5, Landman Bob, David Vanover. He advances. Cast 6, Earl Hochstetler with Barbara Joe. He advances. Cast 11, Braxton Wills, fully committed Pit Boss. He moves on. Doug Douglas and Trail of Tears. They are your winners. Michael Ward and Tin Cup. Chris Collins and Picking Up Sticks. Rivals Merge Prime Time, Brendan Toney. Those are your winners as of right now. So right now we have Chris Collins, Brendan Toney, Michael Ward, Doug Douglas, Braxton Wills, Earl Hochstetler, David Vanover, Barry Kitty, and Tracy Thompson. Those are who we got so far. Looks like Kitty had 325 plus. It's been 325 plus to 375 has been winners on about all of them that we got scores for. Tracy Thompson had 325. Kitty had 325. Barbara Joe had 350. Doug Douglas 325. 375 for Cup. Brendan Toney 175 plus. So that's what we got so far. We have casts 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 18, and 19 left to decide. And the last one is always late. Never fails. We won't be around for that last one, probably. We'll see. So yeah, so far so good. Highest paying coon hunt of all time. I wonder how far we are from $1 million coon hunt. $1 million first place coon hunt, not total. We'll see it in my lifetime, I hope, unless I die early, which is possible. Yeah. My kids will definitely see it. All right, we got another winner. Wipeout Speed Trap. is your winner in Cast 14 over Get Gone Johnny, Sharkeith Brackens and I-45, and $1,000 Fancy Dustin Weed. TJ, I can't imagine it, believe it or not. Yes, Will Langley, I just got it. So yeah, congratulations to Cody Pritchard and Speed Trap. What is Speed Trap out of? Anybody know? I did just get Kitty's card there in Cast 4. Looks like Little Bit, Teresa Coon for 50 and 125. Spook, Teresa Coon for 150. Crush, looks like Crush Tree to Minus Tree, and Speed Demon Trees 2 cones. So that is how Kitty came about to get his cast win. So yeah, I can imagine $1 million coon hunt. I imagine $1 million coon hunt 25 years ago. I don't want to say I told you guys so, but I told my teacher in 8th grade that coon hunting was going to be a huge sport, and we were all going to hunt for money someday, and that's what I was going to do for a living. Yeah. She told me shut up and get back to work. Yeah. Remember in 8th grade, I came in and I was falling asleep in cast all the time because I'd hunted, or in class because I'd hunted that night. It was coon season, opening night of coon season. And me and my grandfather, probably one of the last times I got to hunt with my grandfather on the opening night of coon season. And we got lost, like we did a lot back then, and ended up walking the wrong way for about 4 or 5 miles. And finally found a ride back to the truck and got in late. Of course, I got up and went to school. Yeah. It wasn't even the teacher, it was the librarian. Showed her. I'm sure she was a real sweet lady. I didn't have fond memories. Deep South Kennels, have you ever hunted in the snow? Because it's not fun. There's nothing fun about it. I can do it all winter long at my house. I choose not to. I go down south. That's what I said, TJ. If I went hunting out of school, and I do the same thing to my kids, that's probably why they don't hunt with me very much anymore, especially during the school year. I'll keep them out till 2 or 3 in the morning, and they have to go to school. I mean, you can't skip. It ain't no different than when you're an adult and you do that and you got to go to work. Like an idiot, I hunted until 4 o'clock this morning, or yesterday morning, I guess now. And then I had to get up at 7 to come here. You know, by the time I showered, got a couple hours sleep, and then drove 7 hours, I was feeling it. But you know what? If you're going to do those things, you got to do what you need to do the next day. So it's good to teach the kids that. In my opinion, I'm not dad of the year or anything, but my kids aren't terrible, so I guess I'm doing all right. All right, we got a winner in cast 3. It is Factory's Little Toe. Adam Lowry, 300 plus. John Strickland, he loses that cast and has 250. Toe has 300. I wonder how Ann got 250. She had to draw some minus somewhere, or be with the dog. I'm guessing she drew some minus somewhere. Probably Strickland's fault. Tell him he needs to hire a better handler. I don't love anything in winter except good weather. And I damn sure don't love Maryland ever. I've been to Maryland a couple times, but never hunting. They say it's actually really good hunting out there. But you're not going to find me east of the Mississippi unless it's for work. I don't go east for fun. Too crowded. But everybody I've talked to that's hunted in Maryland, they say in places that the hunting is just absolutely fantastic, and I have no doubt that it probably is. But But I don't want to hear about how great it is to hunt in the snow. The only people that think it's great to hunt in the snow are the ones that don't have to do it all the time. I stand by that. You're not changing my mind on that one, fellas. We can usually, like when our snow gets on, I can drive 3 or 4 hours south, and I would rather hunt the mountains in South Missouri than the snow. As soon as our snow gets on, I'm done. I'm not hunting anymore. Our coons don't move in it, first of all. They will when the rut gets bad, and then you just go tree den after den. You'll still tree several coons. I used to hunt in the snow all the time when I didn't have the means or the time to move. But now we'll go to Texas. We'll go to Oklahoma. I'm in this position now where it gets real bad snow. Uh, I'll just go drive until there's no snow, and then have somebody to hunt with or a friend or something like that. 625 with trap. What's trap out of, Will Langley? Do you know? I'm trying to place that dog. See, it's cast 14. Trap is a young dog. He's a 23 model. Yes, I thought that was the same. He is out of Shifter. I thought that was him. That is a very, very good young dog. He came from right there by the house. I thought his name was Speed Trap. Still says McBee or McBee on his papers. I wonder if they sold him or if Cody's just hunting him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they sold him. That is a. So Zach McBee, let's see. First time I hunted with Trap, he was 10 months old. Little Ralph was like 13 or 14 months old. And I had Raven then. And I went over to check Raven's oil because I'd hunted her a lot around the house. And he had Trap, who had been treeing several coons. And yes, he was a good young dog, even at 10, 11 months old. Well, then Josh McBee started hunting him, and they put him in hunts around the house, but never took him anywhere, and he should have been. He didn't go to Super Stakes last year. It was crazy. Wade just tried calling. They just got him. They just got him. Because I know he was at Spring Super Stakes. Josh McBee still had him at his house. Because if I had got in, Zach wanted to know if I would hunt him out there, because they weren't going to take him if he could get him out there. But they ended up not bringing him anyway. And I didn't get in, so. But we had World Hunt Zones right there at their house. And I mean, it was in Memphis. And they didn't even hunt him in that. Josh McBee, if you're watching, I don't know why you didn't hunt that dog in some of these hunts, which Josh don't hit a ton of hunts. Good dog man, good hunter and stuff. But that's been a good pup for a long time that nobody heard of and could win anywhere. Thought that was the same dog. Patrick Birch. He is your winner with Mojo's Big Time Slide. He beats the Red Bone, Broken Busted, Shane Groves and Cutter, and Dwayne Middleton with Gator. Congratulations to Patrick Birch. Matt Ross, he gets in with Zeb's Fortunate Son there in cast 13. John Granberry is just talking about Sage. Sage is the real deal. That is a good female. But they all withdraw. Bobby, or Zach Bird and Cliff Hoy, Bobby, they all withdraw. Benny Phipps owned Zeb Fortunate Son, and Matt Ross, they advance. That dog's going to barking again. I know one thing, here in a little bit when I go to sleep, that thing better not be barking. I'm in no mood for it. I don't know who's staying across from me, but we're going to have a talk. So yeah, we're still waiting on cast 2, cast 7, cast 9 and 10, and cast 18 and 19. Adam Lowry, who names a dog Factory's Little Toe? Seems like an odd name for a dog. So yeah, just a few more casts. They'll get everybody in. They'll do the late round matchups. These guys will be daylight before they get done. Deep South Kennels, thanks for joining us. Get some sleep. Check out the rest tomorrow. Share this around. Y'all share this around. Remember to thank the sponsors, Joy Dog Food, Elite Nutrition, of course, the Professional Kennel Club, and all the gold members, silver members, and bronze members that help get this stuff out there. So cast 1 through 6, they are in. We still need 7, 9, and 10, 18, and 19. So just a few more. Hopefully we can get some results here for them pretty quick. Ones we are waiting on: Tim Penny, Dave Hauser, Chad Rogers, Casey Maggard, Dustin Burdine, Jeff Rickliffs, Mike Gilbert, David Newland. Will McElwain, Josh Watson, Doug Blackwell, Tyler Jackson. Yes, Billy Bell, Speed Waxer. They are your winner there over Screamer, Kim Russell, and Mark Gilmore. Mark Gilmore hunting Bob for Colby Lovell. Mike Davis, we're probably going to be on around 6 tomorrow for the first one. Then we will get your late round matchups or early round matchups for tomorrow around 8:30. And then hopefully live in the late round from the woods, I'm hoping. We will see. Right now, Tracy Thompson, Billy Bell, Adam Lowry, Barry Kitty, David Vanover, Earl Hochstetler, Patrick Birch, Braxton Wills, Doug Douglas, Matt Ross, Cody Pritchard, Michael Ward, Chris Collins, Brendan Toney, James Wright III gets in and cast 18 with Heather Island Wipeout Z. Look at Z still getting it done. 375 plus beats Brett Herman, Brett Denny, and Herbie Harden. So just a few more casts to go. I'm never leaving the house without a bark collar ever again. Yeah, cast 9 and 10, we still need those. And then we need 19. I believe those are the only 3 casts we do not have results for. As soon as I get cast 19, I'm calling it a night. You guys have to read the rest tomorrow on the funny papers. That's the one I'm really concerned about. I'd like to see what June did. A couple Ralph bred dogs in that cast. Stacking checks is out of Ralph. June, a grandpup to Ralph. Old Ralph, that is. I did talk to JR here yesterday. He's got a female he wants to breed to young Ralph, so we'll probably raise the first litter of pups out of him. I guess she is due in August. I don't think breeding him is going to affect him in the woods. I hope not. It's not a chance I ever like taking. Thunder is rolling outside. That's probably why that dog's barking. Wanting to put up so it don't get rained on. I always just leave them in a crate in the room. David Nichols joining us way out on the West Coast. How are you tonight, buddy? Still waiting on 3 casts. Cast 7 or 4 casts? Cast 7, 9, 10, and 19. That's the results we're still waiting on now. Of the hunters that are in, who would hunt, who would split? Tracy Thompson split. Billy Bell would split. Kitty would split. I'm guessing. I don't want to put words in their mouth. I hope none of them want to split. Don't know about the others. Braxton will split. Doug Douglas would split. Ward, I don't know. I don't know. Chris Collins split. He had 500 plus. Brendan Tony would hunt. So we got one for sure hunt. Just takes one, though. Just takes one. I don't have a favorite to win, David Nichols, because it is such a crazy game. It's a crazy game. If I was betting in the final 4, let's say it was Ann, Cup, Crash, and what's another dog? Is it Bob, Landman Bob? All 4 great dogs, all 4 awesome handlers, all 4 everything. To even place a bet on one of those dogs, I would have to have 5-1 odds, 6-1 odds. And I still wouldn't bet very much. Because you never know. You just can't pick them. If you would have gave me Ann against the field in the top 6 of the PKC World Hunt, I would have took the field and gave you odds. So yeah, it's a lot easier to pick who isn't going to win than it is who's going to win. Bob is in, Mike Corney. Landman Bob is in. Van overhandling him. Yeah. Speed Waxer and Billy Bell. I got a kick out of Aubrey, Billy's daughter. She was hunting wax down at Youth Nationals, and she's so used to rock, late round rock. It was so big. Rock's huge, and Waxer's little bitty. And she just could not get over how easy Waxer was to lead and get around, and he's just so small. They're all small compared to Rock. I've never hunted with Bob. I don't think. You guys tell me, have I ever filmed Bob? Man Bob? So, I mean, I'm sure Bob is really good. He's been on a hell of a tear lately. But I've never, to my knowledge, I've never hunted with him. Is that the one Weed had for a while? He had a Bob that was out of some of Ingles stuff. I think he was at a rodeo. If that's the same Bob, then I drew him last year at this hunt in the late round. And we both got beat by Justin Perriman. I don't know. There's a lot of Bobs out there. They say you put him in coons, he's poison. But I don't know. I can't speak one way or the other unless I know if it's the same one we hunted, and even then, I only got to hunt with it for a couple hours. He treed a coon. I treed the same coon twice that jumped. Yes, thank you, Nick Brady. The Bob, the night I hunted with him, we cut loose. He struck for 100. I struck for 75. I think Colt got treed first, and we were walking to him. I treed Ralph. Or no, Bob got treed first. Bob got treed first. Had a coon. He's got a good locate. I do remember that about him. Really good locate. Dynamite dying locate. He trees a coon. I get treed. I have my coon jump. We go to another dog. I believe it was the Badger. It may have been the Badger female. And then Ralph retrees the same coon. I heard him run it, tree it. I tree him again. It jumps again. I did not have a great cast. Bob got treed at the end, and he had slick, and that's what cost him. Colt won the cast with one coon. Yes. Dog looked really good out of the truck that night, but I mean, like I said, that was 2 hours in a spot that was not ideal. It was just muck and not a lot of coons, and so yeah, he treated coon in the slick the night I hunted with him. But I've no doubt that, my gosh, that was a year ago today. Dogs change a lot in a year. Yeah, he is. I don't know what he's off of. I thought he was off a dude. He's not very old. He couldn't be very old being off dude anyway. Still waiting on those 3 casts. If you guys heard my back pop. Yeah, if he's off the dude, rodeo would be his granddad. Rodeo, and I hunted with Joe, they called him Joe. I hunted with Joe a few times. Good dog, good coon treer, typical of what you would see Scott hunt. He was a barker, but really quick. Rodeo was very quick, and but the mouth that Rodeo throws on a lot of these dogs is outstanding. Dude, for instance, Trent Brummett says, "Dude by Full Throttle Terra." Thank you, Trent. But Dude has a fantastic mouth. Um, a lot of rodeo dogs got really, really good mouths and a really, really good locate, which is rare anymore. I've got one in the house one at the house right now off rodeo I'm hunting that is a killer mouth, killer locate. Dude has that good mouth. Bob has that good locate. Of course, he's off Dude, but you'll hunt with some rodeo dogs and you'll just And yeah, there are the ones that are bark nonstop and chop, 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 but there's a lot of them that bark just right and got that big mouth and that big locate, and they look like hounds. And can't argue with what rodeo has done in the stud pen. Just can't argue it. I know there are so many great stud dogs. I got so much flack for the Cane Stream Awards about the stud dogs mostly. But there was a lot of thought went into that and a lot of study. And it was a lot of why would you put Ralph in there, but you have to look at pups per earnings and stuff like that. And what he'd done last year was crazy. When you win $250,000 and you've only got like 100 pups, over $250,000, had like 4 in at Super Stakes, 3 or 4 in at the World Hunt. Then you look at Rodeo's numbers and Shaq's numbers and Frogger's numbers and stuff, and I think the voting went exactly how it should. It is just hard to argue with what Rodeo did last year. He's on the pace to be up there again this year. Cane Stream Awards are going to be huge next year. I think we've already got our first Dog of the Year nominee with Dustin James and Louie. Landman Bob's right there too. He's already done his fair share of winning for the year. So we keep our eye on such things. The only one that was the handler of the year was very David Nichols. That was a very good question, and I would echo. Here's the thing: are both their dogs at their best, like the best that they can be? Because Echo at his best was unbeatable. 9 out of 10 nights, if Echo was mine to tree coons, you weren't beating me. And so I would take Echo. But if I had to take a dog for a month and win 6 casts with high entry fees, I would take Rodeo. I would take Joe. Well, Echo had to be not only in his prime, but in the right mood. He had to be in the mood. But yes, when Echo got out of that truck and decided he wanted to go tree coons that night, he could tree them as quick and fast and as accurate and with all the bells and whistles that anything could. The 3 casts I hunted with Joe, he looked the same every cast. He was very consistent, laser quick. I didn't like Joe's mouth near as much as I did Echo's, but they're just good freaking dogs. Just good dogs. Scotty's got a good breeding program. Scotty's got good dogs. That's just all there is to it. Granbury, believe it or not, I don't think I ever hunted with Mason, but everybody told me that Mason had a mouth like one is supposed to sound. Dude does too. Dude barks plenty and all that stuff, but I can stand a barker if they sound like Dude. It's the ones that are yak, 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 yak all night that I don't like. I love how Wade can call me, but he can't return a text. It's hard to say. They didn't breed Echo a ton, and then once Scott sold him, Davin and them bought him. I think he was missing females. Echo don't have that many pups compared to a lot of others. And to be frank, I don't know if Echo's bred to reproduce as well as some of the others either. And I think it would take if they were anything like Echo, it would take the right guy to get them to get the best out of them. Some of these pups. That's what made dogs like Naylor and Rat and Bone Collector and Trackman, and the pups were easy to start. They were just natural pups. But Zeb 3 came along, and those pups were a little hard to handle, but the right guys got them, and then all of a sudden, boom, they are the best of the best of the best. So it takes the right kind of pup man to get a dog that's a hard starter anyway. Like the older wipeout dogs, the ones out of Moose, Zeb again, Willie, those were not for the faint of heart to start. And so that's why dogs like Trackman and Bone and Rat and them ones that were made easy starting pups were so popular. Naylor was another one that had easy starting pups. But they take a dog man to finish out too. And so it just matters on who gets the pups. It really does. You take a dog that, well, we hear this all the time in my country. Well, it trees too much for down here, but it would look good in your country. That's never the case. Or it trails too much down here, but it would look good in your country. That's never the case. And so these guys would get these dogs and they try to, instead of trying to fix their faults, which is what trainability is, why trainability is so important, they would ship them around and say they're not a southern dog or something like that. Doug Jackson's made a lot of dogs, John Granberry. He's a good dog man. Granberry knows what I'm talking about. Granberry sees them dogs that, we'll just get them up in thick coons. Or a dog that doesn't have enough hunt, and they're going to get it down there in thin coons, so it's got to range out farther. It's not how any of that works. Coon track's a coon track. I don't know much about OG Zeb or Zeb again, to be honest. The first wipeout stuff we hunted was all Willie stuff, and it wasn't like the Zeb 3 stuff. First time I seen Zeb 3, I went down to Arkansas somewhere. Me and Jess Dickerson and my brother took Supergirl down there and bred to Zeb 3. And that was a very good litter of pups. Shorty was in that pup, Earl. There's another pretty good one, male dog out of there. They were a little weird acting, but they were good. But the main thing is, if, say, John Granberry's on here, if Tin Cup doesn't go to John Granberry, who goes down there and gets him right, Michael Ward never buys the dog. He never gets his hands on the dog, and then nobody ever hears of the dog. So how many pups get wasted like that every year? It's just part of it. Would he have been a good dog no matter what? Maybe, but who knows? I bet he wouldn't have won $400,000 or whatever. How much does it won? So yeah, takes good dog, man. Crash got bought last year, I believe. McVeigh and Marshall bought him. Probably last year. Well, I think it was last fall. I think it was last fall. Every time I see someone that's there'll be a dog for sale or something, and it's not fit for our hunting down here. It's not good in the south. Guess what? It ain't very good in the north either. It just ain't. I hate to break it to you. It just ain't. They're not good. The coon tracks don't change from south to north. Yeah, the hunting's different, but a dog that misses too much down south is going to miss too much up north. A dog that trails too much down south is going to trail too much up north. That's just the way it is. Yeah, you wonder how many dogs. I'm getting ready to write an article on Ann for Coonhound Bloodlines. I already talked to Strickland about it. Ben Sheets called me, and asked me to write an article for, I believe it's a September issue, um, September, October. And I was thinking about that recently. I'd never heard of Ann, and we were at Youth Nationals 2 or 3 years ago. But it wouldn't have been this year, last year, been the year before, I think. So it'd been about 2 years ago. And we're on our way out to a cast. Jace is hunting Hazel. I'm driving him. He's preteen. He's 13, but he's still hunting in the preteens because of his birthday, and I don't walk along with him. Strickland calls me on the way to the woods. He goes, "Hey, tell me what that dog does tonight." I said, "Which dog?" He goes, "And female that the gunner hunting." He goes, "I just bought her." I said, "All right." I said, I said, I ain't walking. I said, "Well, I'll listen, ask Jace." So Jace was hunting Hazel. Hazel treated coon and treated coon. Hazel had a chance to win. She had a circle tree. She missed a coon. And just kind of floated through there and treated coon. And she was treed again at the end of the hunt, but they had to see what Hazel had before Gunner was going to tree her. And since Hazel didn't have anything, Gunner didn't have to tree. And I'm sure she had another coon. And that was the first time I'd ever heard of the dog. Now, I do believe that someone would have heard of Ann if Strickland had not bought her. They'd won with her. Ellis and them guys had won with her. JR knew about her, so the dog was going to go somewhere. But would she be a two-time world champion and tournament champions winner? Probably not. Maybe. Probably not. Granbury, those old school wipeout dogs, people don't understand, do they? Them wild trailing things. Still waiting on these casts. What is taking these last 3 freaking casts so long? Crazy. The service inside this cabin ain't exactly the best either. Luckily, I've got my internet outside. I'm just getting through the walls. We got Wi-Fi here, but it's not very good either. Always thought Gray's Rack and Willie was out of Wipeout blood. I've never really sat down and looked at Willie's pedigree, but I don't believe he is. I'm still trying to figure out who won Cast 19. Good Lord, what is taking so long? 7, 9, 10, and 19. It's crazy how long this has taken. Haven't got anything from Christy or the office for the clubhouse for a while. Oh, we got cast 9. Rivals merge. Hank Davey Newland, he is your winner there. Of course, Hank, the very first EHS Gold Series champion. Very good dog there. Another hunter dog. 2 dogs out of Wipeout Hunter are in. That is Tears and Hank. So congratulations to Davey Newland. Yes, there is a late round tonight. For those that have an early and a late entry, they get another chance. A lot of guys just buy lates. Like last year, I just bought a late to this hunt because it was crazy hot. It's a tough decision to make because it's $5,000 entry. Now, you buy 2 of them, you're out 10 grand. But you also don't want to give your dog just one shot. Sometimes one shot is just not enough. You know, a lot of dogs win late and end up winning this whole thing. Get in late, win winning hunts like that. And so it's a tough call for these owners. Tough call. Yeah. Isn't Willie out of gosh dang it. Usually that dog's through dogs that treat too much. I think he's out of track brand female. And was it Reason? I think Willie's off of Reason. If I remember right. Yes, Reason. Reason never really, other than Willie, of course, really Reason never was really one of my best or my favorite stud dogs. I never hunted with a ton of good Reason pups. But who am I to say? Through one of the greatest reproducers ever. Kurt's going to take some Amy Trackman on the bottom. Someone look that up. My phone's freaking slow over here. I can't look up anything past this Pro Hound stuff and waiting on Christy to send me stuff. I believe he was out of a Trackman female. Waiting on cast 7, 10, and 19. They must be having a question or something. There had to be a question. That's probably why Wade called. Wade's probably causing trouble on that cast. You guys laugh, but I bet you Wade is a handful on a cast. Especially if he thinks he's right about something. So he was out of Trackman female. Okay. I never just Reason pups were around. I mean, I think they even had like, and I don't want to knock anybody's dogs because I've no doubt that Reason was probably a good reproducer and a good coon dog and all that stuff, and he threw some quality pups. But I think they had the Reason pup hunt one year, and they treated like one coon or something like that, is what I hear. But then you also hear all kinds of rumors that you may not even be true. Maybe they went out there and just treated fire out of them. But Willie comes out of Reason. Reason, obviously, not a bad reproducer. Otherwise, he wouldn't through Willie, and Willie wouldn't have been one of the greatest reproducers ever. So who knows? Wasn't there a good female out of him too? Was Winty? Was Winty off Reason? That was a dog that Winty. I think that female was a pretty good one. Wade ain't saying a word. He called. I texted him back. I said, "Hey, I'm live." And then I said, "Who won?" And then I put question marks. And then I put, "You're killing me." No answer. Something's going on. We may have to wait till tomorrow to figure out the deal on that cast. I'll give him about 5-10 more minutes. And this guy's going to bed. And you guys are on your own until tomorrow at 6 a.m. Not 6 a.m., 6 p.m. ish. Loosely 6:30, somewhere around in there. We'll go over these late round results. All that good stuff. Brandon Hathaway was in that cast with Wade. Brandon's a very good dude. He's always hunting a pretty good dog. Justin Wallace, of course, with checks. And Will Hemingway. I don't know anything about Will Hemingway's lawyer dog. Probably a good dog where they wouldn't spend a $5,000 entry fee on it. We're still waiting on cast 7 and 10. Josh Watson, Doug Blagwell, Tyler Jackson, Will McIlvain, Tim Penny, David Hausler, Chad Rogers, Casey Maggart. Well, I appreciate the kind words, guys and gals. If there's any gals watching this, not many gals stay up 2 a.m. to watch some guy talk about coon dogs. But if you do, I appreciate you. Haley McCaslin, that's one gal that's very supportive of the channel, so thanks to her. Chris Fields. So we do get some women watching. So yeah, I don't know what is going on in cast 7, 9, or 7, 10, and 19. John Dortch was guiding cast 19. I do know that. They were only about a half hour from the club. 25 minutes, 30 minutes from the club. They left at 9:15. Probably turned loose at the time you get everything done. You know, they get turned loose at 10, surely. 10:30 at the latest. That cast should have been over a half hour ago. I don't know. I don't know who was guiding the cast 7 or 10. Probably Josh Watson. I'm guessing, don't know in cast 7. I don't know, folks. We're going to give it 3 more minutes, and then we're just going to have to figure it out in the morning. About the time I hit end on this live stream, I know I will get that result, and I'll be really mad. So Tim Penny, David Hausler, Chad Rogers, Casey Maggart in cast 7. Cast 10, Will McIlvain, Josh Watson, Doug Blackwell, Tyler Jackson. Cast 19, Will Hemingway, Wade Grashwitz, Justin Wallace, and Brandon Hathaway. Brandon Hathaway, probably the only guy that drove farther than me to get here. He's about 2.5 hours west of me. He and, Wes Hamilton and some others. Speaking of that, terrible news tonight from Wes Hamilton. He called me about 9:30, and he's got, you guys seen her in the head-to-head against White Monin, the little candy female out of Hunter and Ruby. And she passed away tonight with a twisted gut. And they had just bred her to Country Boy. Crying shame. That was as close to Ruby in a dog that Ruby threw that I've ever seen. So feel bad there. Sucks for Wes. Still nothing. All right, guys. Hate to shut it down, but I'm going to have to. Appreciate you being on here. We will get all this sorted out tomorrow. Look for us around 6:30. We'll go through these early round results we don't have, and then we will go through the late round results and see what we got there. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Viewership was great. Tune in tomorrow. Appreciate y'all very much.